How we doing, folks? This is Why Not Us. I am Mike. I'm joined by Mike today. And Mike, why not football? We are so back. This is our week 1 NFL preview, and I'm a kid on Christmas.
It's football. It's finally here. It's the greatest thing that comes to our lives. You get off work on Friday. You're pumped after a great week. You meet up with the boys, the gang. You go out on Friday night. You hit the town. You have an absolute banger night. You wake up Saturday, kind of hungover, but you're rallying. You grab some food. You watch College Game Day. You get ready to drink again. You're probably sipping by noon already.
Mimosas,
brunch, day drinking, what Saturdays were made for. You go to a place that has TVs and you watch college football all day. You gamble your money away.
All of it.
You end up not remembering much past 11 or 12 at night if you make it that long. And then you wake up with the worst hangover on Sunday, the kind of hangover that tells you you're never going to drink again. And so you sit on the couch all day.
Mm-hmm.
You order food.
Mm-hmm.
You drink a shit ton of water. You make a shit ton of bets.
Uh-huh.
And you wait for Scott Hanson to pop up on the screen at 1 p.m.
We're so back. We're so bad. You didn't mention when we checked Sunday morning to see if our Hawaii bet hit and we made all our money back from college football. You forgot that part. Scott Hanson, he's so back. You know what I love about Scott is there's not like, is he going to have a good year? Is he going to have a bad year? He's Scott, dude. He is on it every single year. I can't remember if he's ever had a down year. Have you ever watched a season of Red Zone football? Been like, not his best stuff.
Never. He is so talented. He is the best at what he does. He deserves to end up in the Hall of Fame one day. Mm-hmm. I mean, who knows if he takes a shit ton of Adderall or whatever. It's impressive that he doesn't go to the bathroom for 7 hours straight.
I saw this list that ESPN would do. It was like the 5 most important people in the NFL. And it was like Jerry Jones, Roger Goodell, the president of the NFLPA, whoever that is, owners. Why isn't Scott Hanson on the list? He might be the face of the NFL. When I think Sunday NFL football, he actually 100% is my first thought, right?
Yeah, I'm so grateful that we grew up in a time where, for all I can remember, we always had Scott Hanson. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine not being able to watch every game and listen to the greatness of Scott Hanson's voice. Mm-hmm. I'm just grateful I never had to endure a time like that.
Did you ever have to watch, I think it was like Andrew Siciliano. He had like the DirecTV version of Red Zone. Did you ever get stuck with that?
Never.
Oh, I did. So my dad would get the Sunday ticket. So that was the one that was included instead of Scott. So I'd watch all my friends talk about how they're Scott Hanson, the fucking man. And I was stuck with Andrew Siciliano, and I didn't realize how good it was on the other side. It was like a New York prime rib versus Chipotle steak. Like, it was, holy shit. Man, you set the tone, Mike. We're so back this Sunday. We're in our element. This is what we live for. This is...
People that don't like sports, the girls that get mad about people caring about fantasy and bets, and just anyone that doesn't understand will never understand. And
what do they do on Sundays?
Like meal prep or like clean the house,
play a board game. What are you doing? Maybe like we've really painted the picture of how Scott Hanson is ours to 23-year-old dudes. He's our modern day church, folks. Maybe we'll get the actual church back into the rotation, but for now we got Scott Hanson.
I don't pray much, but if I did, I would pray to Scott Hanson.
And the football gods, because we have 2 very important games coming up, and let's go game by game. And the first 2, one's tonight, Ravens at Chiefs. We'll get to that one in a sec because jersey's on, Mike. tomorrow night, Packers-Eagles in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So I teased last episode saying, if I was an unbiased bettor, I'd lean the Packers, get in points, neutral site game, a lot of questions both sides. Ended the season strong. We'll see if I change my take. Mike, I want you to start. What are you feeling for this game? Which side are you leaning? And are you going to make money?
The plan is to make money.
Okay.
After last episode, I realized you were afraid. You have small nuts. You have no idea what's going on. Quick shout out to Roberto Firmino, Brazilian soccer player, formerly played for Liverpool.
Firmino.
If you don't know him, you should read up on him. Scored a bunch of bangers. He's from Brazil, so I figured, quick shout out to that guy. This game is being first ever NFL game in Brazil. But anyways, my opinion on the game, what everyone really wants to hear. Clearly, I'm biased. Clearly, I hate the Eagles. But I think everyone has question marks about the Eagles. What football team shows up on Friday night? I think absolutely no one knows. And I think it is going to be an absolute boring football game. I mean, like...
Slugfest.
Slugfest is a generous word to call it.
Wow.
I think it might look like a JV high school football team. I think that's how bad the Eagles, but also the Packers will look.
Wow.
So my favorite bet is the under 48.5. I think the Packers are going to take a huge step back this year, and the offense is not going to be great like it wasn't most of last year. I think the Eagles' offense is once again going to regress. I think it takes some time to fit Saquon Barkley into that offense. I think Jalen Hurts takes another step back this year, as I've noted a few times. I think they're in unfamiliar territory. It's week 1. Nobody's got the rhythm. My prediction, 17-13 Packers.
Packers win still. Packers cover. Just betting the under, though.
I'll take the Packers spread, too. I hate the Packers, but...
We tend to bet the Packers on weekday night games, so...
I'll keep the trend going. I'm going to assume that you have a different opinion of the game.
I've thought a lot. I've thought a lot.
I'm sure you have, because...
I've taken my time. I've had no predictions or for this game, for the Eagles season. I haven't thought about it. I've put them in the back fucking seat for what they did to me at the end of last year, and I've had a lot of time to reflect. I've had a lot of time to think about where we stand now compared to last year. What the hell is going to happen? Here's the conclusion I came to. The Eagles in 2022 surprised a lot of people. They came out swinging. There was a lot of futures bets that season. If you had the Eagles, you were feeling pretty because they looked like the most dominant team. And then last year, those odds went down a lot because they had just gone to the Super Bowl. The talent came back. Why wouldn't they repeat? Looked that way. Fell off a cliff. Coordinators sucked. A lot of blame on Sirianni. They got new coordinators. Here's the point I'm making, Mike, is because we're coming into this season and it's pretty fucking quiet. Not one person is really getting on the train of the Philadelphia Eagles right now, which I get. We fell off it at the end of last season, but really? Not one analyst in the NFL wants to come out and say, holy shit, that team's loaded. I don't give a shit what happened last season. They got new coordinators, and they, I think, are the best roster in the NFL. Not one person has done that. I'm not saying I'm saying that. Maybe I am. I'll get to it in a sec. But I'm just surprised. I'm surprised we don't have that one person that's just diehard on the Eagles train right now. Because the reality is that is the most talented offense in the NFL. The coordinators are good coordinators. Nick Sirianni is a manager, and he doesn't need to be Bill Belichick. He'll be a leader of men. Just don't touch the fucking offense again. I'm not worried about it. Mike, I looked at it from a macro view, and I said, okay, if I'm not taking the Eagles this year, then what team am I taking? And I couldn't think of it. I just don't see a team that has more pluses than this team. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, good O-line, 2 new cornerbacks, a sturdy secondary compared to last year. Linebackers suck. Fuck them. Defensive line, going to get after the quarterback. Better defense, better scheme. Michael, I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning the Super Bowl this year. I'm fully on the train. I'm not taking another team.
Oh, no.
This is the team. No. Listen to me. This is the team. 2022 was way before schedule. It was always 2024. This was always the year that this group was going to come together. It all comes together. I was weary about the Packers. I said they're getting points here, and I don't know what's going to happen. Fuck it. We're better. Eagles, -2.5. Here's some of the futures I took for the Eagles this season when I realized this all last night. Eagles 1 seed and Cowboys to have a losing record, Mike, is 12-1, all over it. Last remaining unbeaten team, easy schedule. We've seen them do it in the past, too. They start off strong. That's 10-1. 1 rush touchdown every game. Tush push. Saquon Barkley, 22-1. Now we're getting frisky, Mike. Quinyon Mitchell, plus 1,600 defensive rookie of the year. I'm just rambling now. Most importantly, Jalen Hurts, MVP, 12-1. Last thing I got for you, Mike, the NFC East order of how it's going to be. Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, Giants. I think that's the order no matter what. And it's 5-1. I like the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. I'll tell you my AFC team here in a sec. But I came fully around, and that's why I took a good 4 minutes there, because this was a process for me. And this is where I'm at to start the season, folks. The Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in the NFL, and they're going to prove it.
I'm glad you took the time that you needed. I'm glad that you took that time off. I can't imagine ever taking time off for my team. But I'm glad you did whatever you needed to do. If you took an Aaron Rodgers kind of ayahuasca retreat. Or
I was evaluating. Maybe I thought they were going to be a wild card team. I came fully around. They're going to win the Super Bowl.
I'm glad you got to that point, because when they barely slip into the playoffs as the 7th seed, you are going to be so disappointed. The season will already be over by that point. It's going to be exactly like last year. You said Sirianni needs to stay away from calling plays. Then what is he doing? Because he's not running the fucking locker room. He's not keeping those players together. He's not motivating them. He's not exciting in interviews. He's not cool. You have no Jason Kelce. The offensive line is worse. Saquon Barkley is old. Running backs never do better on their second team. Jalen Hurts to throw 10-plus turnovers. I'm all over it. I've got the Cowboys to win the division. I do agree. I think it's Cowboys and Eagles 1-2. I think Commanders 3 and Giants 4. We'll get more into that. Yeah, but to stay on the Eagles, there's a lot of new faces on the defense. A defense that was decent but not great. The defensive line is a whole nother year older, and the offensive line is a whole nother year older without Jason Kelce. I think there's a lot of question marks. None of them can be answered until we play football. And I think when we play football, I am going to be spot on with my predictions, just like I was last year. Because last year, I predicted Jalen Hurts to have a bad year after everyone got more film on him. Maybe, but not specifically about Jalen Hurts. I fucking nailed the Eagles. I couldn't possibly predict that they would literally take the team van and drive it off a cliff and everyone would forget that they're teammates and they didn't like each other, because that was pretty awesome to watch unfold. Didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I can't wait for the Packers to win the ugliest football game that we've seen since 1932.
Mike, Saquon's younger than Christian McCaffrey. I'm fully out on that take. He's going to take on that same role and maybe be better. Mike, it's all, you said it best. We don't know the answers. There's still answers to the questions to answer. Much more from the Cowboys than the Eagles, by the way. But you got to put your flag in the ground somewhere. And I'm not just going to come middle of the pack like, yeah, they could be good, but they could also fall off a cliff. No. This team's the best in the NFL. I love our players. I love our coordinators. I love our fan base. I love our home field advantage. I love the Philadelphia Eagles. And I really, really do think we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. I came fully around last night. Last night it hit me. I was just like, oh, wait. Duh.
I think that we started a podcast and you had to figure out a way to convince yourself that the Eagles are going to be competitive this year. And this is your way of saying, we don't know what's going to happen, so why not the Eagles? We don't know what team is going to show up, so why not the Eagles?
No, viewers, Michael is lying. I am confident. I have no questions whatsoever. I'm the most confident I can be in an Eagles team.
I'm glad you're confident, because to rip that confidence and hope away from you later in the season is going to be very satisfying for me.
It'll be good. I'll be at the Philly Watch Bar here in Denver.
Love it.
We good on Eagles Packers. That was a good dump right there. I feel so much better. I needed to get that out. Sorry it took like 10 minutes, but whatever.
No, I'm glad you did what you needed to do. And I can't wait to recap this next week.
We're in the routine now. Like this is what we did the podcast for.
Yep.
It's so that our terrible takes and predictions are public to the internet and people can hold us accountable. But before we get to your bad predictions, maybe with a cowboy hat on to emulate delusional cowboy Mike. Sorry. Am I giving spoilers? Anyways, Ravens at Chiefs tonight. First game of the season. I have people ask me like, do you want to go out to the bar? Do you want to watch this game at my house? I'm like, no. First game of the season, I want my couch. I want unreasonable same game parlays, and I just want to be locked in. The Chiefs are 3-point favorites at home. First game of the season. There's been a lot of trends. I know there's some stats for this. I didn't look any of them up. I'm just going on vibes from what we've seen. Mike, can I start off here?
Go ahead.
My AFC pick this year is the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a lot of the same reasons for the Eagles. They're in the worst division. They got an easy schedule. And listen, if you're going to bet Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, now's the time to do it. So I'm just putting my eggs in that basket. I trust it, and I think an Eagles-Chiefs rematch makes a lot of sense. And I don't know which AFC team I'd pick, whether it's the Texans or Bengals, to beat them in the AFC Championship game. So give me the Chiefs. And it's a lot of the same sentiment with this game. I have no idea what's going to happen with the Ravens. I think it would be a little bit weird if the Ravens had a convincing win. It doesn't feel like they're on the trajectory to prove people wrong. I think there's going to be hiccups with that team. The Chiefs, I think, is opposite. They started slow last year, had questions at the beginning of the season. I just think they have their team together. They know what to expect. They got their shit together, plain and simple. So I'm just laying the points. I'm taking Chiefs -3 at home. I think I'm betting on the better team here. And just like we did in the playoffs last year, Mike, betting on Patrick Mahomes, I think I'll be pretty comfortable on my couch tonight watching this game.
Yeah, it's funny because we didn't discuss this beforehand.
No,
but
none of these.
I'm taking a completely opposite approach.
Okay.
I am getting off of a long day of work tomorrow. Probably gonna have to work till 6 or 7 o'clock.
Okay.
I am going straight to the bar to meet up with everybody.
Okay.
We're going to watch the game out. I am slamming the Ravens money line and +3. I see it being a close game, so I like getting the 3 points. I think the Ravens actually don't have a lot of question marks. I think they put out a very similar team every single year. Harbaugh seems to always have them in the same groove, and they have the best running back next to Lamar that they've ever had. Sure, he's older, but I think Derrick Henry is one of those guys that he beats time. He beats anything human because he might not be human. He's a freak of nature. I think that creates one of the most dynamic offenses that we've ever seen. We've never seen an offense like that. I'm not sure that you're going to see an unbelievably explosive offense tomorrow, but I remember last year after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, they played the Lions and they lost a gritty game week 1. Mahomes had a few turnovers. Receivers didn't look great. I think the Chiefs are in the same position they were in last year, where Xavier Worthy, what are we getting from him? Marquise Brown, he's already ruled out. Rashee Rice, I love him. I got him as an 1,000-yard receiver, a Pro Bowler. I think he's about to tear it up. But I think there's a lot of question marks still on the defense. Chris Jones is a year older. The rest of the defense sort of makes plays when they need to, but it's not a solid defense. I think the Ravens get revenge from the playoffs last year, and they take down the Chiefs. I'll go a step further. In the playoffs, the Chiefs figure out their shit, and finally someone takes down Patrick Mahomes, and it's Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Book them for a flight to the Super Bowl.
Wow. You said Chiefs last week, so you came around on that.
I said Chiefs like 3 days ago.
Okay. Or 3 days ago. Right.
And I couldn't do it.
I almost leaned that way too. I was like, you know what? He's got to get it right at some point. Like, Lamar is Lamar, and that team is good. I don't know how you can be this high on Derrick Henry, but not on Saquon Barkley. He's like 3 years older than them, but I'll leave that there. I think I already know the answer to that question. Okay.
Look at them.
Okay. I am. Saquon Barkley is a twitchy 230-pound running back that's... there's completely different running backs, first of all.
Right, but Derrick Henry was born on Mars. He's an alien. He's a freak of nature.
Yeah.
He is not human.
He's
Anything
Gus
that
Edwards.
happens... Oh, come on, dude. You don't believe that.
No, but he was what Gus Edwards was to them last year, just Derrick Henry.
And Gus Edwards was pretty damn good last year.
He was pretty good for them last year. Yeah.
Imagine what an actually good running back is going to do for them.
I'm interested. Do you think Lamar might just be the guy that doesn't go to the Super Bowl? Like, is he just going to be that quarterback? Because my thought when I almost wanted to lean the direction you were for the Ravens this season was like, they got it. He's got to do it at some point. Like, why not this year? But they did lose a D coordinator. The receivers are terrible.
Always have been.
Mark Andrews is hurt. I don't know. Defense is good. Kyle Hamilton's sick, but they're not like jumping off the paper as far as roster goes. And I don't really think anyone in the AFC is. I mean, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, but like, really it's the Texans that are like, okay, depth, talent, roster's full. But other than that, it's like good quarterback, weapons here and there. So that's why the AFC is just tough for me in general.
Yeah, I think like you're saying, is Lamar the guy that never makes it or never gets over that hump? I think that guy is Josh Allen. I think he may never get over the hump. I think Lamar might only do it once or twice, but I think he's going to do it. He's good enough to do it. He's been so close. And the roster doesn't jump off the page, like you said, but it never really does. It's more the performance on the field. And I think they simply got better from where they were last year. And I like them.
Okay. All right, well, we faded each other. Should be a cool game. I don't really know what to expect in either of these first games, but let's move on, Mike. The next game, this is a 4:25 game, is Tom Brady's first call. Very exciting. Ooh. I think there's a reason they didn't load the afternoon slot because they wanted the traffic to come to the Fox slot with Tom Brady. I'm sure you can guess who the Tom Brady Fox afternoon slot is, Mike. It's the Dallas Cowboys. And they are visiting the Cleveland Browns, who are maybe the biggest wild card in the NFL this season out as far as like, what the fuck? Where do we go with there? And I think I leaned one way with them. Do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first? This is your team. You gave me your Packers before Eagles, but feel free. What are you thinking?
Yeah, all I got to say,
oh, God.
How about them Cowboys?
I didn't see that coming.
Why not us? Week 1, weird. We're playing the Browns. We usually play the Giants on Sunday Night Football, and we smoke them, and I have nothing to worry about.
That's every year.
Non-division, non-conference, weird game. Mm-hmm. But I am so fired up to see this team. I am so fired up that CeeDee Lamb is back on the field. I am so fired up to see this defense rocking again. I don't think it's going to be a sexy game. The Browns have a damn good defense, but I think we comfortably control the game, take care of business. CeeDee Lamb has 1, if not 2 touchdowns. Zeke probably gets one at the end just for fun. I think first... Here's how I see the game going. Mm-hmm. It's always a comfortable win for the Cowboys, which never usually happens to the Cowboys. This one is a comfortable, in-control win. First half, maybe we go into halftime up a field goal. Maybe it's even tied. but we've been dominating. We just can't finish in the red zone. The Browns have a good defense, and the run game is bad for the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. And then we go to halftime, and we realize we have the best receiver in the goddamn league, and we won so many games last year because nobody could guard this guy. And we come out of halftime, and we feed CeeDee. We probably run the ball on 20% of our plays. All of our passing plays go to CeeDee Lamb, maybe 1 or 2 to Brandon Cooks or Jake Ferguson. We absolutely feed him. He takes over 150 yards, at least 1 touchdown, and the Cowboys are back.
Wow. Do you really feel that? Like you in your guts, or are you just coming out for the podcast like you have to bet the Cowboys week 1?
No, you can't just flip the script on me there. That has been my predict. I said that you just came on the podcast to be an Eagles fan. You can't just say that I made that prediction just for a podcast.
I'm just not convinced, is all.
I'm going to be convinced when my FanDuel account has like $4,000 in it after this weekend.
Whoa. Is this the same Michael Schweidel that never bets on his football team?
It is. And you know what? Thank you for bringing that up.
Uh-huh.
I'm a very superstitious guy. I have done a lot of crazy things that have either caused my team to lose or helped my team win. I once spent 2.5 quarters of a football game in my bathroom while my dad watched from the living room, because every time I went to the bathroom, the Cowboys scored a touchdown. The Cowboys won that game, by the way. And one thing I never do is bet on my own team, because whenever I do, they lose. What I realized is I was just picking the wrong games to bet on them. Because I would never do it. I would do it once or twice a season. And whenever I did it, I was wrong. And you know what? I was just unlucky. I am hammering the Cowboys, as I've recently been hammering the Yankees, which has been going very 50-50. I'm not sold on the strategy. I still might be a jinx in that form. But I realized, what's the point of being a fan if you can't relish in the wins with your team in the form of betting on them?
Do you know what the line is?
I believe the Cowboys are getting points.
Yeah. Dude, they're getting 2.5 points. Which,
disrespectful.
When I sorta. But, like, I never have seen this out of a week 1 Cowboys game. All the delusional Cowboy Mikes of the world come out. They bet the Cowboys. The line goes towards the Cowboys. But this has stayed sturdy at a Browns -2.5. And thanks for the Cowboys talk. I have my stuff on the Cowboys. But I want to talk about the Browns, because this team is so weird to me. Deshaun Watson's the big piece here. And here's my theory with him is like, dude, if it's not this season, it's not happening. You're donezo. So I think this is the best Deshaun Watson season we've seen since the Texans. And I don't think that's a bad take. If anything, that's just more probable. We just don't know how much better, right? That defense is so good. And I sent you one text about this game yesterday, Mike. Do you remember what I sent to you?
Honestly, no. I probably didn't even look at it.
I said Myles Garrett versus Tyler Guyton.
I didn't respond, if I'm correct.
Rookie. Nope, you didn't. I don't think you had a response. Rookie left tackle out of Oklahoma, late first round, versus the best defender in the league in Myles Garrett. Maybe that's why the line is where it is, just as it stands today. But that Browns defense is the best in the NFL, at least coming off last year. I expect the offense to be better. Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper. So yeah, I looked at this line, and there's 2 main reasons that I am taking the Browns -2.5. And I honestly wanted to take the Cowboys. I was like, this line doesn't make sense. But when a line is like this and it confuses me, I like to go the way where it makes the least sense, which is Browns -2.5. And Michael, I think the Browns are just better. That defense is better. There's so many question marks with the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb's going to start slower than he usually does. Brandon Cooks is out. What other receivers do you have? Rico Dowdle, Ezekiel Elliott. Man, they're getting like 3 yards a carry against that D-line, dude. Where's the offense coming from? Over, under, probably the under, but give me the Browns. I'll lay the points. It's at home. Oh, also, the last part of this, I love Kevin Stefanski. He's such a good coach. I trust him. Coaches, quarterbacks. I'm on the Browns. Mike, how we have it set up right now, we have faded each other on each pick, and you have taken all underdogs, and I've taken all favorites. So I think we're doing good.
Kind of sounds like you're a sheep.
Why?
You're just a sheep.
No.
You have no way to think for yourself. Maybe you're just trying to go against me because
I didn't know what you were picking.
I just would hate you're just going for the favorites because you can't think for yourself here.
I'm writing
maybe
them all down. I'm writing them all down, folks. We'll see Tuesday of next week who's right and who's wrong.
Yeah, just to wrap up the Cowboys, I'll give you a few futures on the Cowboys that I'm on. CeeDee Lamb to lead the league in receiving yards. Dak Prescott to lead the league in passing yards. Micah Parsons to set the single season sack record, inevitably making him Defensive Player of the Year. I think Micah Parsons is the man of the match on Sunday. He outplays Myles Garrett. He has at least one sack. He drops into coverage. He is the most dynamic player on the football field anytime he steps onto the football field.
It's a great matchup. Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, that'll be cool.
Do I think the Cowboys are going to score 50 points? No, because the Browns' defense is really good. The thing that
they might not score 15.
I just don't understand how the Browns are going to score 15 points. I think Deshaun Watson is bad. His career is over. Jerry Jeudy is irrelevant. I'd argue Jahan Dotson is a more relevant signing, and he's completely irrelevant.
I so agree.
Amari Cooper is great, but they don't give him the ball. They have no running back because Nick Chubb's still hurt, and Jerome Ford. I think you saw this with them last year. They went on a little run at the end, but if you can't score, you can't win the game. When your team has 0 points, you literally cannot win the football game. And I just don't see a way that they even get to double digits. Their offense is so bad.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'm not even putting my trust in Deshaun Watson to be better. I'm putting my trust in Kevin Stefanski. I think he's a great coach. But
fair. I don't disagree.
I had something off that. Oh yeah, you mentioned Dak to lead the league in passing. I actually like that because I like to look at guys that don't have a big running game, and Ezekiel Elliott and Rico Dowdle on that O-line are trash, and you're going to see a big drop-off than what you're used to as a Cowboys fan this year. I just want to prepare you for that. You don't have the offensive line you've always had, and your running backs are trash. So let me put that out there right now. Dak's going to be throwing the ball a lot, and Dak's good throwing the ball. So yeah, I like that bet. Another person I like under those same lines, Mike, is Joe Burrow because they don't have running backs. That offensive line's not that good. He's going to be throwing the ball a lot, especially to Jamar, who hasn't got his contract yet. So I like him. I think he's like 14-1.
Yeah, I don't hate that. The Bengals just scare me. There's so many unknowns. I don't understand who they are. We'll hit it game by game, and I'll give you a little overview, but they're weird.
Yeah, we took a lot of time there for Eagles-Cowboys, which is how it will be most weeks, folks. It probably won't be the long monologues you got, but we had to set up our expectations for the season. I will say in mine, I was fully confident we won the Super Bowl. I didn't hear anything from that out of your mouth. Listen, I think you said it best the second episode we did where you said it's either at the end of the season, the Cowboys are blowing it all up or they surprise me. And it's still the same, Mike, where I say you should expect the first of those two outcomes. Like the chances of this really going bad versus you guys winning the Super Bowl is very, very differentiated. I just hope you know that.
I understand your opinion.
It's not an opinion. That's a fact.
Pressure makes diamonds. There's a whole lot of pressure on the Cowboys. There's a whole lot of pressure on Jerry Jones, Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, and they are going to turn this team into a whole bunch of diamonds that are going to go right on their finger when they get a ring in February.
Oh, I can't wait for the podcast, February 8th or whatever the hell it is. Okay, game by game, you want to go?
Yeah, let's rip it through real quick. If there's a game you like, let's spew. It's a bunch of games I don't like.
Steelers-Falcons, my game of the week. Steelers at Falcons. The Falcons are getting 3.5. I have the under 42.5 here, Mike.
I like the under. If you put a gun to my head, I'd say give me the Steelers, but I'd probably...
Are you betting it? You out?
I'd probably shoot myself before the other person got to shoot me.
Do you want the under with me? Because I'm writing these all down.
Yeah, I'll take the under.
All right,
I'll take the under.
All right, cool. All right, next game. I got Jags-Dolphins. You got a bet for this?
I love the over. I love points. I love Tyreek Hill touchdown.
Yep.
I love everything that has to do with this being probably the most exciting game of the slate of the weekend. If there was a way to pick on, like, you know how they have like the UFC, the person with the fight of the night gets a bonus. Mm-hmm. If there was that for the NFL, I would give it to this game purely because it's going to end 45-40.
Yeah.
and it should be
I
fun.
totally agree. I think the only reason you take the under for a line like this with the Dolphins is like Miami game, Florida, hot sun, soft ground. But the Jacksonville Jaguars are also from Florida. It's in Jacksonville. Points, 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 points. I like the over 48.5. I think that line's way too low. And I'm always on unders week one. But, I mean, dude, why would I... listen, if you were forced to take the over-under for a game, why am I taking the under for this game? So give me the over.
Agreed.
What's the line, though, for that? I think that's the
Dolphins are laying 3.5, I believe.
3.5, yeah. I also kind of like the Jags there, but not my official pick. Cool. Another good game, actually very interesting game. Colts versus Texans. Colts are at home, but the Texans are getting 2.5 points. Mike, the Texans have become very hot. People are very high on the Texans. It's a lot of people's AFC pick. And yeah, I like the talent, but I think it's a downer year. And then I could be proven fully wrong because D'Amico Ryans could very well just lead a top 5 defense and that carries them. But I expect them to fall down a little bit. And I started with the Texans here because I didn't see a lot from the Colts that I liked. But kind of like with me and the Browns' vision with Kevin Stefanski, Shane Steichen's a dog. He might be the best coach in the NFL. That's how much I loved him in Philly. That's how much I wish he was the coach instead of Nick Sirianni. That guy's a dog. He comes out ready for week ones too. So I'm taking the Colts here. I think there's a better chance people come out of this game and they're like, Anthony Richardson, the Colts, what's going on there? Versus people like Texans, steamroll, we had it all along.
I actually agree with you. I'm riding with the Colts as well.
Nice.
I love Anthony Richardson. I love a healthy Jonathan Taylor. It's in Indianapolis, correct?
It is. Yep.
I think the Texans go in there in a division game. They don't look hot off the bat. I think the public money is going to be all over the Texans because, like you said, everyone loves the Houston Texans. I'm not a sheep like you, although you're on the same side as me for this one. I like the Colts as well. I love the value in dogs, division game, week one. They win the game.
Yep. Line movement, all of it has our name all over it. That said, take the Texans, folks. Another sheep pick, Chargers -3 versus the Raiders at home. So, home games, I always like to relate to 3 points-ish. I think for the modern day home field advantages and just the good quarterbacks we have, it's probably more around 1.5, but I'll call that even. And listen, I'm not crazy high on the Chargers. I'm not crazy low on the Chargers. I think the Raiders will be better than people think, but first game in Jim Harbaugh's career. I think this is a CBS afternoon slate, so this will get a lot of traffic because of that. And I think they start off with a win. So I'm laying the points with the Chargers here. They're better than the Raiders. They just are. I trust Jim Harbaugh on this, and I think he starts the season on a good note, and people will talk about him. So give me the Chargers.
I like that. It's a nice, happy story to begin the season. I won't be reading that story because that story won't exist because the Raiders are going to win the game.
Okay.
Division game. Love Gardner Minshew. They're not great, but I think the Chargers are worse. I think the storyline is, wow, Harbaugh has no idea what he's doing in the NFL. And he, just like the past regime of the Chargers, I think it comes down to a late play in this game, and he totally mismanages either a call or the play clock or something. And I like the Raiders as dogs. They go in and win that game.
Nice. I have my lock of the week, actually.
Give it to me.
Okay. The Commanders are visiting the Bucks. And stop laughing. And the over-under is 43.5. And I am all over the over in this game because the Commanders' defense is bad. The Bucks, Baker, he can lead a competent offense. And then Jaden Daniels, I expect him to just have explosive plays and points in his first game. I could be proven wrong, and the Bucks are way worse than we expected, and Jaden Daniels is not ready. But bet I'm willing to take. I think 43.5 is way too low, and I don't think this is that's really similar to the Falcons Steelers line, and I don't think this is a game that's similar. I expect points out of these two teams, especially with the defenses they have. So that's my lock of the week, actually. I'm heavy on the over 43.5 and Commanders at Bucks. It's weird, but that line screamed at me.
I just did not see that being your lock of the week.
That's my lock of the week.
There's
really
a lot
is.
of mediocre football games to not get excited about as far as the literal rivalries go. This is one of the ones where you can get the least excited.
Yeah.
I think in Tampa, Jaden Daniels, rookie, doesn't win the football game. So I like the Bucs money line. I don't like touching anything about the spread. So I'd love to throw that in a parlay with someone like the Bengals. I'm sure we'll get to that game. As far as the over-under goes, I'm not impressed by Washington's offense. The Bucs offense isn't that good. Maybe you get like a pick six on each side and that gets some points on the board. But as far as a lock goes, I don't see any part of that that's a lock.
Commanders might have the worst defense in the NFL, so I expect the Bucs to come out just competent enough. They lost their offensive coordinator, that scares me, but competent enough. That's all I'm asking. And then the Bucs defense is decent. They lost Devin White, some pieces there. But yeah, Jaden Daniels, give me 2 big explosive plays that give you 14 to 21 points on the board. Yeah, I just like the over. It's a tingle pick.
Cool. Have
Bengals
fun sweating your dick off watching that.
I will. What else would I sign up for? This is my type of bet. This is my type of bet. Like this one right here. I'm all over it. I'm all over it. Bengals are getting 7.5 at home versus the Patriots. This line has dropped, and yeah, I'm taking the Bengals. I'm not taking the Pats? First of all, I wanted to stay away, but it's at home. There seems to be one blowout each week one of like, oh my God, that team's just so much better. There's just no way the Patriots can keep this remotely close. Just give me the points.
I like it.
You went on?
I actually caught the Bengals the other day at -6.5, which I really love.
Whoa! Are you serious?
Yeah, it got all the way up to 8.5 today.
Wait, you just said 6.5. Did it go down?
Yeah, it went from 6.5, then it went up to 8.5, now it's dropped back to 7.
So it's just all over the place.
A little bit.
Okay. Gotta love
my other sneaky pick. We don't really need to talk about it too much, but I just realized that both of these teams are going to have really bad offenses, at least to start the season for the Bengals. I don't know what the over-under is, but give me the over. It makes no sense that either team would be able to score points, so I like the over.
It's 40.5. That might be the lowest of any game this week. Sure.
Yep.
I kind of like that too. Mike, we said we were taking unders week 1, and I think we've taken more overs.
I haven't taken a single under besides your loser Eagles.
Whatever. I only had one more bet written down, and then we could just touch on the loser games. But this is one of the games I also wanted to stay away from, and I leaned the other team, but I got right with my guy. Who's my guy, you ask? My guy's Bo
Who's
Nix.
your guy?
He's getting 5.5 points in Seattle on Sunday. And yeah, the Seahawks, I mean, they have the win all over this bet. They have Geno Smith, sturdy quarterback, better offensive line, 3 good receivers, Kenneth Walker's healthy. Defensive line cannot be as bad as it was last year, defense as a whole. But listen, there's something about Sean Payton having his quarterback. And I don't know if Bo Nix is Drew Brees in that guy, but just Sean Payton being able to come out in week 1 and not have Russell Wilson as his quarterback, that opens up a lot. And I think that's going to excite him. And I think we're going to see a juiced up Broncos team. I don't know if they win the game, but I like them to keep it close. Give me the Broncos plus 5.5 in Seattle.
I had 0 bets or opinions on that game other than there's no reason the Seahawks don't win up until really now when you started talking. And I thought it was going to make me hate the Broncos even more. Forget about the spread. Give me the Broncos money line.
Fuck yeah! Bo Nix, baby!
Why not the Broncos?
Why not Bo Nix? He's like... He's 18-1 to win Rookie of the Year.
It doesn't make sense. They're a bad football team with a rookie quarterback that was drafted, according to analysts, way too early. And they're going into Seattle, into a tough environment, against a Seattle team that's got a pretty good offense, a bad defense, but a pretty good offense that they almost made the playoffs last year, and the Broncos were one of the worst teams. Why is the line only 5.5?
I don't know. He played in Oregon. Like, he's used to the Northwest on games like this.
Broncos.
I like the money line too. Maybe that's just our money line dog of the week.
That's my money line dog of the week.
All right, cool. So the games that we didn't hit, let's just run through them real quick. Cardinals at Bills. Bills are 6.5-point favorites. I'm out on the Bills, but I'm not betting the Cardinals, so I'm out.
Agreed.
Titans at Bears. Bears are getting 4 points. Like the Bears, don't like them enough to give them 4 points. Just I need to see it first, so I'm out on that game too. Texans at Colts, we hit. Jags, Dolphins. Panthers at Saints. Mike, take this one away.
You know,
Don't do
I'll
it,
just
dude.
start off. I
Don't
won't
do
lead
it.
up. This was my dog of the week before the episode. Loved everything about the Panthers. The Panthers
Why?
are about to get a new stadium. Bryce Young in year 2 is going to be so much better than last year. He literally can't be worse. They've got a better offense with Deontay Johnson, who gets the most targets per season. With a competent quarterback, he could easily have 1,000 yards and be a Pro Bowler. The Saints are bad. There's nothing exciting about the Saints.
Maybe.
There's nothing cool about the offense. Derek Carr is going to throw a pick or two. I mean, give me the under in this game that literally might be 13-8 or something like that. And why don't the Panthers win the football game?
Panthers +4 is your pick, or money line.
Both.
So every underdog you've taken, just for awareness, you've had the money line as well.
I'm going to lose so much money
Dude,
this week.
Big fucking stay away, dog. Me doing that was me pulling trig. Like, this game makes me want to just puke my brains out. Now that said, I love the Commanders-Bucks game.
Doesn't make sense.
Another snooze fest. Vikings at Giants. This game might be worse. It's the same over-under for 41.5. The Vikings are away, but they're getting 1.5 here. Mike, do you have any thoughts about this game, or can we move the fuck on and maybe talk about the Giants?
Real quick, one thought. We can move on right afterwards. I was waiting for you to bring it up. My lock of the week is in the Vikings-Giants game.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay.
Now, at the end of the season, my prediction is these are the 2 worst teams in football. But on Sunday, I have the Minnesota Vikings laying the 1.5 points, winning by 15. Justin Jefferson, anytime touchdown. Justin Jefferson, 100 yards. The Vikings are better than the Giants. Nobody can guard Justin Jefferson on the Giants' defense. I'm not saying they're going to win by 50. I'm not saying they're going to look that good. But the Giants are the worst team in football. I'm really sorry, Jake Siegel. But the Giants are the worst team in football, and they are an embarrassment to this league. Daniel Jones now has a hot girlfriend, so he's probably just taking all his wins with her. Yeah, she's awesome.
Dude, good for him. That's sick.
Yeah, so enjoy the win there. Enjoy all of the losses on the football field, because I also love the New York Giants and the New England Patriots to both go winless this season. I'm not saying they'll both do it, but I'm throwing on both of them individually to go winless this season.
Nice.
0 wins. Hasn't happened since the Lions in like 2008 or something. But yeah, lock of the week, Minnesota Vikings. There's no way they lose the football game.
Wow. Okay. I'm still staying away. Can't do it. Cool. That's the slate. Sunday night. And I didn't write down bets for the next 2, so let's just do it off the top of our head. Rams at Lions. The Detroit Lions are getting 3.5 points. This is probably the biggest over-under of the week. 50.5 at Ford Field. Mike, a lot of different ways you can go with this game. It really depends on how you feel about the Lions for the whole season. Because if you're anywhere about Lions making the NFC Championship, winning the NFC division, whatever, take the Lions here. Just because it's just a purely chalk game. It's like, who's better? Which team do you trust more? And I think the thing that might be getting lost in this game is just Matthew Stafford. Like, I like the Rams here because I just want to bet on Matthew Stafford this game. Like, the Lions are probably a little bit better. I think they have a little bit of a NFC Championship loss hangover, longest they've gone in the playoffs. And I don't expect a ton out of the Rams this year. One of the bets I do like is Jared Verse to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. That's 7-1, and he's my favorite. He's a beast. So yeah, give me the Rams with the points here.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from the money line on the Rams. I like the Rams spread. I think this game stays close. I'm afraid to take the over, although I think there will be a lot of points, so I'm going to stay away. The only bet that I would throw here is the Rams spread. Come Sunday night, I'll probably have 7 different ridiculously insane same-game parlays where I try and predict all 5 touchdowns that get scored.
Of course.
Right now, Rams spread.
Mike, can I share something with you? So the game tonight, Ravens at Chiefs, Collinsworth and Tirico, but then also the Sunday night game, which is the Rams at Lions. And again, don't know if this is an actual stat, but it always feels like one of those games that they're calling is a snooze fest. So my question to you is like, which of those games has a chance of really being a slugfest, not a lot of points? Because I don't really know.
I think Thursday night. I think, unfortunate as I hate to say it, I think it's going to be a really boring football game.
Yeah, I sort of agree with you just because of all the question marks I have with those teams. Like question marks usually equals to slower offense versus points. So that over-under is 47.5. I'll probably add the under tomorrow night too. And I'll stay away from the over-under with the Rams game. Last game of the week.
Football.
Monday Night Football. Great game. So excited. Jets at 49ers. The 49ers are getting 4.5 points. The over-under is 43.5, which is pretty low for, good defenses, but also good offenses. Mike, start us off.
Jets.
Jets. I'm all over it too. I love the Jets.
What a terrible thing that the NFL is doing to them after having them play on Monday Night Football last year, and Aaron Rodgers holds the flag as he runs out onto the field, and that's literally the only highlight that he has from that game because he doesn't even complete a pass. You know how like those like fantasy like sleeper, all those apps do like that special where it's like pick any quarterback over 0.5 yards in week 1 and it's 5 to win 100. Like I saw some guy that had Aaron Rodgers and it didn't hit. I mean,
what a
and
poor
then
guy.
For the NFL to then make the Jets go play on Monday Night Football the same year after, and Aaron Rodgers' first game back, I mean, basically his first real game as a New York Jet. I mean, how fucked up is that?
Pretty fucked up.
There's no way it can be as worse as last year. I'll knock on wood here.
No.
If he can last 5 plays, it's already better than last year. The Jets win the football game. The 49ers just signed Trent Williams. They just signed Brandon Ayuk. McCaffrey's already a little banged up. I think they have not a bad year because I don't think there's a way that anyone else beats them in that division. But they regress a little bit. The Jets look awesome. Garrett Wilson. He's the new Devontae Adams with Aaron Rodgers. Jets.
Yeah, and you brought up some Niners points there, Mike, but I think this game's a lot more about the Niners than it actually is the Jets. As much as, Aaron Rodgers is coming back, we finally get to see what they actually are. And, they won this game against the Bills on Monday night last year, even when he got injured. I think that was just because of a lot of juice from the fan base, the team, new beginning. It's going to be the same thing with this game. And it's a 49ers team that's getting 4.5 points still because they just went to the Super Bowl. But like you said, Trent Williams just signed a contract. Ayuk's barely been at camp. Debo takes a step back. McCaffrey's banged up. Brock Purdy is barbecue chicken trash, as we've gone over, right? Defense is still going to be really good, but yeah, give me a slow start from the Niners. A little bit of a hangover. Fuck it. I like the money line. Give me the Jets.
Bang. I'm in too.
Bang. So, cool. I don't think
I took a single favorite.
The Vikings.
All right, my lock of the week, and they'll probably be the one favorite that doesn't win.
Yep.
And all of the other favorites win, and I go winless.
You took all favorites and overs. Good start.
I don't bet
Good start,
overs.
Mike. Now, my question to you now is, because this was a debate you were having, one-time offer. It's a yes or no right now. Would you like me to write your official picks down as the opposite of every pick you just took?
I did debate it after the roller coaster of USC and everything I went through with that.
Or the past 4 years of our life.
And I thought about it last night, and I thought, you know what? Like, in my gambling career, I'm probably not profitable. I've probably lost more bets than I've won. Uh-huh. So theoretically, it should be smart for me to flip every single pick I have and take the other one. And instead of having most weeks where I lose, then I have most weeks where I win.
Yeah, no, I got that part. My question is, which one are you doing?
Absolutely not. Keep me with every single bet I just gave you. I am different this year. The Cowboys are different this year. Why not me? Why not us? Why not the Cowboys? Why not 100% sweep the fucking board this week? Why can't I?
Why not you, Mike?
Why not? I haven't missed a bet yet in the NFL.
Well, 4 bets that one of us will guarantee to win. We're fading each other on Packers Eagles. I got Eagles, you got Packers. Tonight you have the Ravens +3 in money line. I have the Chiefs to cover. You have the Cowboys. Delusional Cowboy Mike +2.5, and I got the Browns at home. And then our last fade is you took the Raiders and I took the Chargers, and everything else we were same page on. Couple that I took that you didn't, vice versa. Mike, that's our NFL slate. And that was fun just talking about it. We have actual games, actual matchups, actual predictions. 7 hours. Can't wait.
That was great. I'm excited to do that every single week.
Mm-hmm. It might be copyrighted, though.
The 7 hours, I more just meant our picks, but
Fair.
the 7 hours was cool.
Yeah, we'll do that every week. Yeah. Cool. You want to do college football really quick, and then the hotline. You already talked about it, but Jake Siegel gave us one.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. College football, I'll just run through them real quick. First game I want to talk about, Iowa is at home and has 2.5 points to cover against their in-state rival, Iowa State. So I moved to Denver about a year and a half ago, and I made a really good friend group here, and they all graduated from Iowa State. Super random, great guys. And the reason I know that they're a really good friend group is because I now find myself actively rooting against Iowa State. No reason. I just hate my friends' football teams. So that said, the 2.5 feels weird to me. It was just the better football program, and those guys will say the opposite, but they are. So I'm taking Iowa here. And yeah, give me punts, give me one turnover that defines the game. But I saw an interview of like their 2 coaches, and I couldn't tell you their names. But the Iowa coach was this old guy you can tell has been there for 20 years. And he's like, tradition, grit, do the basics right. And then the Iowa State guy was like this young dude who probably has a vision for how the offense is going to go. Give me the old school football in the state of Iowa. I like Iowa to cover right there.
I love it.
Cool.
I may hop on that with you. I may not. One thing that I am committed to doing this season, along with the Rutgers spread, is Iowa football game unders. It's 35.5. I believe it was somewhere around that last week, and the under slammed. I don't care who they're playing, what the line is. I think it got as low as like 21.5 at some point last season and still hit the under. I'm not going to be the idiot that tries to take the over. I'm not going to be the idiot that's afraid. I'm going to be the fucking genius that takes the under because Vegas is too afraid to drop the line lower than that this early in the season.
Yeah.
So give me the under 35.5, and I can't wait to see the game finish 10-7.
Nice. I like it. I took it last week too. I just took it with 4 teams that lost. So
sounds about right.
Let's see. No, the other, I think, just marquee matchup of the week is Texas in the Big House. I keep saying the wrong, has to cover 7 points.
You could say giving.
Giving 7 points, or is it like
giving the other team 7 points?
They're giving,
they have a head start.
not getting.
7 points.
Right. Giving, getting. Yeah, makes sense. Got it. I'll be better.
Just be better.
Yeah, I'll be better. You done?
Go ahead.
I like Texas.
Me too.
Okay. They're better.
Way better.
Way better. Give me the 7 points.
I don't know if college football alternate lines exist, but this is one of those where I'd take like -15.
Yeah. And the reason 7 points is still a lot, but reason Michigan's getting respect is because of last year. This is a different team, different coach. Didn't like what I saw last week against Fresno State. Texas rolled. Texas is very good. They might be the best team in college football. Quinn Ewers is a beast. Juiced up game. Big Ten, SEC. It'll be good, but give me Texas cover.
Yep.
Bama's getting 30.5. Fucking hell, giving 30.5 to USF, South Florida. They roll. I like Bama to cover. That seems too low to me.
Yep, USF is shitting their pants, and Bama can score points against shitty teams.
Yep, like it. Syracuse at Georgia Tech. So I'm taking Syracuse money line. They're the dogs here, and I'm sorry, they're actually at home. And Georgia Tech is getting points because of the FSU win. Now we've seen that FSU is actually just bad, right? And Syracuse is actually pretty good this year. So the value is pointing towards Syracuse, but not because of just the teams and how they stack up against each other, because of what happened in week one. Give me the value. I like Syracuse money line.
It's funny, we didn't discuss any of our college football picks, but I also had Syracuse with a capital M and a capital L next to it on my picks.
Yeah, sweet. That means people, you know the drill. Take Georgia Tech. Okay, I'm sorry to do it again. Western Michigan's getting 38 points against Ohio State. It's a night game at the shoe, and 38 points is a lot. Yeah, they keep it closer than 38 points. And if they lose, I'm not betting Western Michigan again. I'll never bring their name up again. That's my deal to the podcast.
I accept that deal. I'm going to imagine that deal started last week, so I'm going to take Ohio State.
Okay, deal. Fuck you. You got one more game to talk about, or a couple? That's what I have.
Ole Miss, they're awesome. I'm going to keep riding them. They lay 41 to, I didn't even write it down because it's irrelevant. Mm-hmm. Ole Miss. And App State, you know, they have that historic win over, I believe it was, Penn State? That was one of the big early 2000s, one of the first random small schools to beat a big school.
Oh, you're talking like way back. They had another recent upset. They had like College Game Day there recently.
They've done it a few times. They're actually one of the favorites to be the group of 5 school that makes the playoff. They're not bad, and Clemson is bad.
Yeah.
And App State, money line. If you're afraid, take the spread. It's going to be a close game.
Yeah.
I think they're getting like 20 points.
I refuse to take – it's 17.5, and I refuse to lay that amount for any Clemson game this season. I mean, their offense is just bad. But I did a little bit of research when you told me you were over App State because I wanted to be on it. But then I saw it was a night game at Clemson, first of the season. It's just tough. You know, I know Florida State started 0-2. It would be really surprising if both them and Clemson started off 0-2.
Fair. Well, get ready to get surprised because I'll be on it and you won't.
Right. And it's going to win, apparently.
Cool.
That's college football. And not a crazy slate this week, but, you know, I'm just glad that NFL dominated – 75% of this podcast. That felt good.
And before we get to the shout outs and the Jake Siegel call-in line, Jake Siegel will be my official shout out for this week. He's waited a while for his call. But I'd also like to shout out my good friend, as his contact in my phone is Tanner Pussy Ass Hilton, our best bud. He called me earlier, and he's not a big gambler, but he's very big into props, and he makes these ludicrous
I remember this.
Touchdown parlays or other prop bet parlays, and probably hits a few a season and some other moderate ones. Mm-hmm. And then he makes one every single week that's like 10 legs, and it's like, it's got to hit. So I'm like, all right, let's cook one up, and I'll give it on the podcast. So all games are on Sunday. We've got 3 with an option for a 4th, all anytime touchdown scorers. Tyreek Hill, Jonathan Taylor, and CeeDee Lamb. Tyreek Hill is going to score a touchdown. I don't see how he doesn't. I think everybody in that game scores a touchdown. Might even throw on a Miami Dolphin offensive lineman to score a touchdown. Mm-hmm. Jonathan Taylor, back, healthy, on the Colts, going to score a touchdown. And CeeDee Lamb, I mean, I might throw him in there to score 3 touchdowns just for the fun of it.
Dude,
because
stop.
That's how automatic
stop.
one touchdown.
Stop. Denzel Ward, good defense. Let's relax a little bit.
Okay, so yeah, you can say what you want. That parlay is plus 650. 3 of the best players in the league, 3 of the best touchdown scorers in the league at plus 650. If you want to get a little crazier and amp it up to plus 1100, you can throw in James Conner, who I also think finds the end zone. That's something he's very good at against a Bills team that's not that great. So yeah, shout out to Tanner for helping me with that.
Shout out
hopefully
Tanner.
It hits. If it hits, maybe we get him on here to give his next parlay.
Yeah.
When it doesn't hit and it's almost really close, we can probably still have him on here to hear him bitch about why it didn't hit.
And next time, Tanner, let's get a little bit more juice. Like, I've seen those props you put together. There's some good plus 20,000 ones in there. Those are the ones we're really interested in. So, but I like that. Nice shout out there. That's good.
Thank you.
Do you want to do the call line?
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick.
All right, cool. I never think of shout outs before, but I want to shout out an Eagles fan since our game is tomorrow night. Shout out Jared, man. Just he's we have a lot of Eagles friends. I'm getting into touchy waters here. There's a difference between an Eagles fan and an Eagles fan. Jared is an Eagles fan, so shout out Jared, Blake Jared.
Nice.
Call line,
Blake Jared. I miss you,
dude. Yeah, you. We'll explain to the audience in a couple episodes how you really folded in reference to Jared and Coakley. I'm still upset at you.
Not my fault. I didn't fold, but it'll happen eventually.
It'll happen.
Anyways, here's Jake Siegel.
Hey, Mike. This is Jake Siegel, long-time listener, first-time caller. Had a question for you guys. Been a lot of talk recently about the upcoming Los Angeles Olympics flag football team. Interested to know your thoughts about who should be on that team. And great podcast. Keep it going. Talk soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jake Siegel. Great question. Mike, this is a good question and one we could really get deep on, but we need to set this up kind of how it is right now, because the talk with this is have you seen I guess USA technically has a flag football team right now, and the quarterback's coming out saying I'm better at this sport than Patrick Mahomes and these guys. So I think the debate is if we're going to really answer this question, are we aligned thinking NFL guys are better to be on the US flag football team versus whoever the fuck that guy's name is? Agreed?
Completely agreed.
Okay, cool. Do you have some players in mind?
Yeah, I'll start off by saying, Jake, great question. A little bit questionable on upcoming Los Angeles Olympics. It's 4 years out, but
it is the next Olympics.
It's coming. It's the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that says he's better than Patrick Mahomes, I guess he's arguing it's a different sport. It's not a different sport. It's the same sport, and the guys that are professional flag football players aren't good enough to be in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So that's where I dropped the whole idea of that guy making it. I think quarterback, for me, is a no-brainer. I think Lamar Jackson has to start at quarterback. Yeah. You're going to try and argue Jalen Hurts maybe.
Well, he was in the commercial.
That's awesome. I heard Lamar was busy that weekend.
Shut up. I agree with you, though, because Jalen, flag football is not hitting. He's a beefy guy, and he's an amazing mobile quarterback. He really is. You could argue that Jalen Hurts, fits the position in different assets more than any other quarterback, but flag football, it's, throwing, it's electricity, it's scrambling. So I think Lamar's pretty obvious, honestly, for quarterback. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes will probably fit into this very seamlessly, same with Josh Allen, but I think Lamar's a safe pick.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Lamar. I'm pretty sure that the center goes out for routes, and that's usually a tight end.
Ooh.
As cool as Travis Kelce is, I like the idea of a leaner guy, maybe a Sam Laporta, a Kyle Pitts. Yep, I was on the same track there. I like that. Even we haven't seen anything out of him in the NFL, but a Brock Bowers kind of guy.
Totally. He might, and by 2028, that could very easily, as far as a center snapping it, having some blocking maybe, and then catching passes, out of guys right now, I think I'd be pretty confident saying Brock Bowers fits that mold best.
Yep. And then receiver-wise,
I got one.
Yeah, go for it.
I got an easy one. Devontae Smith. He just feels flag football-y to me. He's a skinny, always open in the open space, fluid motion, catches everything.
Doesn't
have to get hit. Which, by the way, he hasn't even been injured yet, so that takes out the fucking trash. Devontae Smith screams this for me. And let's be real, I think the main wide receiver is pretty obvious of who you take here.
Tyreek Hill. No?
Tyreek Hill. 100%.
Yeah. And I think it's got to be speed. I think that's what you got to be focusing on.
Which, 2028, it might be a guy like Javonte Williams, who's the new premier speed guy in the the NFL. But I think Tyreek wants to be on the Olympic team. He even teased racing in the track events too. So maybe he's like a dual sport contender, and he wins like 2 gold medals, and like that's the perfect way for Tyreek Hill to end his career. That would be pretty fucking cool. Yeah, cool. Maybe there will be a running back.
I guess theoretically, I think my ideal running back, not that this guy currently is in the NFL, but for some reason just came to me. I feel like he'd be really cool on a flag football field would be Darren Sproles.
So good. Yes, absolutely. We're on the complete same page here. I was going to say like Jahmyr Gibbs, who's like kind of similar to a Darren Sproles, but Darren Sproles,
why not Darren Sproles?
He's, if you were to make like a statue of the small running back that caught a bunch of balls and you could never tackle, it's Darren Sproles. And then guys like Danny Woodhead, Tariq Cohen, they all followed suit after.
Yeah, I don't know how I thought of that. I mean,
that was
I really
good.
pulled that one.
That was really good. You're not even an Eagles fan. That was good.
He played on other teams.
Well, he was best on the Eagles.
Fair. I'm not going to debate Darren Sproles with you right now.
Why not? Let's get into the Darren Sproles. No, we're good. Cool. That's a podcast. That was so much fun. I hope people can listen to most of that because there was some great stuff in there. We'll try and get better at the reels. Hopefully we really make some good ones out of these because this is the juice. This is the talking. Big Eagles prediction. We win the Super Bowl. You're high on the Cowboys. Wouldn't want to start the season any other way, Mike. We are in our prime delusional element. And tonight is the first game of the NFL season. I can't wait. Why?
Why not us?
Football's back.
Just enjoy. Don't forget to enjoy.
Peace, everyone.